Hi guys, welcome to YouTube channel of Ims Kanpur. Let's discuss set number 5 of CAT 2024 slot 1. First, let's read the set. I think it's a caselet based set where there's no graph that has been given, but looks like a data interpretation based question. So let's read. Two students, Amia and Ramya, are the only candidate in election for the position of class representatives. Student will vote based on the intensity level of their campaign and the type of campaign they run. So voting depends on what kind of campaign they are running. Each campaign is said to have a level of 1 if it is state campaign. So if state campaign means this is a level 1 campaign, and if it is vigorous campaign, then it is called as level 2. So these are two type of campaign, and they can either focus on issues or on attacking the candidate. So in the campaign itself, we have two type of issues. Either you focus on issues or you aggressively attack on the other candidate. Now, if Amya and Ramya both run campaign focusing on issue. So now the case number 1 is if they are running both of them are running a campaign that is facing on issue, then the percentage of student voting in the election will be 20 times the sum of the level of campaigns of the two students. For example, if Amya and Ramya both run vigorous campaign, then voting percentage will become 20 into 2 plus 2%, that is 80% of student vote in the election. So you can clearly say there are 4 possibilities. Let me write Amya and Ramya. Now suppose Amya and Ramya both are loving level 2 campaign, then percentage of vote will become 20 into 2 plus 2, that is 80%. If let's take Amya is running state campaign, Ramya is running vigorous campaign, then voting percentage become 20 into 2 plus 1, that is 60%. And it could be other way around. Amya is running vigorous and Ramya is running state campaign, then again voting percentage will be 60%. In the last scenario is both of them running state campaign, in that case the overall voting will be 40%. Right. Then next part. Among voting students, the percentage of votes for each candidate will be proportional to the level of their campaign. For example, Amya run a state campaign while Ramya run a vigorous, then vote distributed between them is the ratio of 1:2. Okay, great. So in this scenario, both of them running level 2 campaign, so vote will be equally distributed. So Amya will get 40%, Ramya will get 40%. Now in this scenario, the vote share will be in the ratio of 1:2. So you can say Amya will get 20%, Ramya will get 40%. In this, the numbers will reverse, and in this, both of them will get 20%. So overall, now this scenario is valid when both of them are focusing on issues. Now the above mentioned percentage changes as follows if at least one of them runs a campaign attacking. So the moment any of them start attacking campaign, then this percentage will change accordingly. So let's read how it is going to change. If Amya runs a campaign attacking Ramya and Ramya is on focusing on issue, then 10% student who would have otherwise voted for Amya will vote for Ramya. It means suppose Amya is running attack campaign, Ramya is running, let's take issue campaign. In that case, 10% of the voters, those who are voting for Amya, will shift to Ramya, and another 10% will not vote. So like to understand, let's take the first scenario. Now in this scenario, suppose Amya is running an attacking campaign, then 10% of the votes that Amya is supposed to get 40% vote. Now 10%, that is 4%, will switch to Ramya. So now in that case, Ramya will get 44% weight, and another 4% will not all vote. So in this case, Amya's vote percentage will become 32% and Ramya is going to get 44% weight. That is the scenario number 1. Understand scenario number 2, which says if Ramya runs a campaign attacking Amya. Now Amya is running issue-based campaign, Ramya is running attacking campaign. In that case, 20% of students who would have otherwise voted for Ramya will vote. So these 20% vote will shift to Amya, and 5% will not vote. So now if I look at the same scenario, in this case, suppose Ramya is doing attack campaign and Amya is doing issue-based campaign. 20%, like 8% vote will shift to Amya. So now Amya will get 48% and this guy will get 32, and then further 5%. So 5% of 40% is that is 2%. So again 2% will not vote at all. That is how the things are going to change. And third scenario is both of them are attack based campaign, then 10% voters of each of them will not vote. So it means in this scenario A will get only 36%, R will get 36%. So that is how the question has been designed. Now we have to follow the scenario based on whatever the question is being asked. So let's go to the first question. The first question says, just let me erase a bit of part so that we can see the question quickly, nicely. Yeah. Now the first question says, if both of them run state campaign attacking the other, then what percent of students will vote in the election? So obviously, if both of them running the state campaign, it means total voting percent should be 40%. A and R should get 20%, but this would be valid if they are running issue-based campaign. But since they are running campaign attacking both of them, so third case gets valid. In that case, 10% voter of A will not vote. It means out of 2020, 2% will not vote for them. So total voting will happen 36%. So for this question, option D is going to be the correct answer. I hope it is clear to you. So had this been issue-based campaign, total voting would be 40%. Now, since both of them are attacking, so 10% of the voters of Amia will also not vote and 10% voter of Ramya will also not vote. So out of 40%, 10% will not vote. So it means only 36% are going to vote and both of them are going to get 18%, 18%. Look at the next question. What is the minimum percentage student who will vote in the election? Now, to calculate the minimum percentage of voting, so I think first scenario that we have to analyze is like both of them are running a state campaign. In that case, both of them together will get 40% vote. And out of that, if we assume that both of them are attacking each other, in that case 10% each, because in these first and second scenario the votes are shifting, but here 10% of voters of each one of them are not going to vote. So in that case the voting percentage will come down. So again the answer for this question is going to be 36% as previous question what we have done. So that is the minimum percentage that is going to happen in this election. So for this question, B is the correct answer. Let's go to the next question. Let me erase a few things so that we understand. Now let's read this one. If Amya runs a campaign focusing on issue, then what is the maximum percentage of voter that she can get? Now, Amya has to get maximum percentage of vote. In that case, I will take that he is going to get at least 40%. Either take this scenario or this scenario. Now, I want to maximize the vote for Amya. So, I'll assume that Ramya is making a attack-based campaign. In that case, some of the votes will switch to A. So, I will go for this scenario. And I'll assume that Ramya is making a campaign that is more of attack campaign. So in that case, if Ramya runs an attack-based campaign, 20% of her vote bank will shift to Amya. In that case, 20% of this figure will become 8%. Now this 8% will shift to A. It means A will get 48%. So that is the maximum percentage of vote that A can get. So the answer for this question is going to be 48%. I hope this is clear. Because you have to maximize the vote of Amya means Amya must get maximum percentage. That can happen either in scenario number 1 or scenario number 3. But to maximize Amya vote, if Ramya makes a attacking campaign, then obviously lot of votes of Ramya will switch to Amya. So in that case, Amya's voting percent will increase. And that is why we are assuming that Ramya makes a attack-based campaign. In that case, 20% of her vote will switch to Amya. And that is why answer is 48%. Let's go to the next one. Let me erase a few things so that we can read it a little clearly. So now it says if Ramya runs a campaign attacking on Amya. Similar to the previous question, Ramya is making a campaign that is attacking. Okay, great. Then what is the minimum percentage of vote that she is guaranteed? Now you have to figure out the minimum percentage that Ramya is going to get. In that case, I will go for this. Like Amya will run a vigorous campaign, Ramya runs a state campaign. In that case, Ramya will get at least 20%. Now, since Ramya is making an attacking campaign, let me assume that Amya is making a issue-based campaign. In that case, 20% vote of Ramya will switch to Amya. So in this particular scenario, let's take A is already getting, if both of them run a issue-based campaign, then figure will become 40% and 20%. And now, since Ramya is making an attack-based campaign, 20% of voter will switch. It means 4% will further come, and 5% will not even vote. So that 1% is going to vote. In that case, out of 20%, 4% are switching, 1% not voting. So you are going to get 15% vote. In any of the scenario, this is the minimum that you are guaranteed. So I would say A is the correct answer for this question. And what is the maximum possible voting margin with which one of the candidate can win? So now, if you want to maximize voting margin, then you have to assume that both of them are getting maximum. One is getting maximum vote, another one is getting minimum vote. Now that can happen if I take case number 2 or 3. One of them is going to get 40%, other is going to get 20%. In that case, the voting margin will become maximum. And in that also, I'll assume that some of the vote gets switched from one person to another person, then that difference will even become bigger. So now in this case, since if Amya runs let's take attacking campaign, then only 10% of the voter are going to switch. But if Ramya makes an attacking campaign, in that case, 20% of the voter are going to switch. So I will take the scenario to be wherein Amya is getting a 40% vote, focus on, and 20% vote, like Amya is running a vigorous campaign, Ramya is running a state campaign, and that too Ramya is attacking. So in that case, 4% of vote of Ramya will switch to Amya. So in that case, it's become 40%. And here 1% further, that is 5% of the 20%, that is 1% will not vote. So in that case, this guy will get 15% vote. That is what we did in the last question. And this is the maximum possible difference. So 44 minus 15 will become 29%. And that is out of the given option is the maximum. So I think we can surely say this is the correct answer for this question. So that's all for this.